Hi guys. So this little lecture is going to be about Python expressions. You can see that in the title. Chapter section 2.6 in our book, and and some various details, particularly the compound operators. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so what we have is over here, they're showing us a little program. Right? Now we do this program, we could write this program in idle. And just look at the down payment is int input. So each of these are getting sent as ints. And what we're doing is we're taking the down payment plus the payment times the number of months. Now one thing they're doing to make it a little easier to read is they're putting spaces around the plus and the times. They're going to say that that's a good idea later. And now all of this happens, and nothing, you don't really see anything but the prompts in your answers. You don't see this calculation until you print it out. So that's something you ought to realize, that you gotta wait to print it out. Now, here they say you put space. They like to put spaces around the time. So you really want to have some space here, not just. And here are some stuff, but this is the last thing I'll show you. The compound operators, like plus equals, right over here. Age plus equals 1 is going to add 1 into age. So if age was 5, and you did age plus equals 1, it would turn into 6. If age was 100, it would turn into 101. Now, similarly, we have minus equals that will decrement by that much. So if we had something like, now this only works, by the way, with variables like age. You can't put arithmetic in here, and you can't put, say, 7 plus equals 1, because we don't want to change the value of 7. 7 is a constant. Now, what we do have, we also have minus equals, times equals, divide equals, and remainder equals. We'll talk a little bit about divide and remainder later. But minus equal, the common ones are plus equals that we saw earlier, minus equals that we have over here, and times equals. So we could do, right, something like this. Let me show you this. Okay, let's go into idle. Come on, idle. Yay, idle. Okay. So let's put a number in. Number equals 1. Now, if I do number plus equals 2, now number is 3. You guys see that? Now, if I do number minus equals 2, it's going to take the 2 away that I just added. It does the opposite, and now number is 1. If I do number, so number is 1. If I do number times equals 3, number is 3. If I did it again, it would be 9. Now, if I divide that by 4, actually I don't know what's going to come out exactly. Right. 2.25. Well, note this does division. When you divide, we're going to see this in the next chapter, we always get a fraction, a decimal thing. So number divide equals by 4 is 2.25. So now, that is the compound operators. You can jump over these guys. Okay, a little point when writing an integer or a fraction is you can't put commas in. So you can't write 1, 333, 555. You can only write 1, 333, 555 like this. If you write it like that, it will confuse the thing. Right? Let's see how confusing it gets. Let's go back to idle. 1, 333, 555. It thinks you're describing a list of numbers here. Okay? And so that's why it's going to get confused and think it's a list. So if you had 25, if you were at 25, 300, okay, let's try this again. Messed up. See, we write this, by the way. I want 2 words. I put an underbar there. We discussed that in the last video, or maybe the one before that. And we want to take 25,354 and add 68 to that. Let's see what happens with messed up. What's in messed up? Get 2 numbers, and it added the 68 to the 354. So anyway, this is not at all what we want, clearly. So, I'll put that in our notes. Now, the notes really are the video for this class, but I'll also stick that in OneNote over here. Okay, now, back to the book. That gives you an idea. Okay, I'm not going to do the challenge either. I'm not going to do any challenges here, though I might do some on the homework. Now, I want to switch to the next chapter. So bear with me. This should be, I was just looking at it, so it should be easy. Should be easy. Come on, Python. I mean, Zybooks, do your stuff. There it is. Okay, so we're going to talk about division now. Now, like I said, even if you have integers or floating point, whatever kind of numbers you've got, division always gives you a floating point number. A floating point number. So, there's 2 ways of thinking about division. One way is you divide 5 by 2 and you get 2.5. And you learned that, but you also learned in school, right? So, let me put that in up. 2 ways of thinking about division. One way is 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. But another way of thinking about this, 5 divided by 2 is 2 remainder 1. Now, the way we express that in Python is with the double division sign. So if you do 5//2, you get 2. And the thing is that this is not languages like when you do take 2 numbers. So if you do 5% 2, you get 1. That's the remainder. This is division, what we call integer division, and this is the remainder. So this guy always returns an integer, even if you see that it is floating point. It's the integer that says how many times this can go into that. You can't divide by 0. All right, I don't need to go over that too much. Okay, and so here is the remainder. Now, some interesting questions that might arise. I don't even know the answer, because like you, this is my first exposure to, well, I was doing some on the summer, so I don't know what happens if I take 5.6 and get the remainder of 1.8 into it. 0.2. Well, 3, if we take 5.6 divided by 1.8, we get 3.0. Oh, so it doesn't always return an integer. If you take 2 floating points, it returns an integer, but it's a floating point integer. 3. So, why does that work? Well, 1.8 times 3.0 plus 0.2 gives us 5.6. So that's pretty wild, actually. Let me just, so that shows up. Okay, so let me just check what I have in here. Yeah, that's where we ended. So, okay, this so remainder and integer division works even when the pieces are floating point. It tells you what's the integer times that you can go this into that, and what's left over after you do that. Nevertheless, usually you want to use, and the book will show you, usually you want to use this with floating point. Now, one of the ways is to get the digits out of a number to showing you that. So, if you take a number, percent 10, that gets you the rightmost digit, the ones digit. If we divide out, that gets rid of the ones digit. So, let's see what happens when I play with this in Python. Okay. Okay. So, digits is going to be a number that's 5, 6, 7. Now, if I do digits percent 10, I get 7. So that gets me the lowest. Now, let's see if this works. Now, if I look at digits, it's 5, 6. And if I do digits percent 10, it gets me to 6. So This is one they didn't mention in the book, but it works. Slash slash equals. If I do digits, 10. Now digits is 5. So that gives me the 5, the 6, and the 7. And I think that's enough on Python arithmetic. So I'll stop it right here. Okay, and I'll give you a little homework. Okay, so we're going to read. And this is just the book. Where am I? Okay, so let's go. I'll go. Here we go. From chapter 2. Now, I'm going to have you go over. I think what we did today was 2.3 through 2.7. So, here, read 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, and 2.7. Okay, but your notes from today, I'll put these notes up next class as part of your notes. The notes from today is this video, which is going to appear on Blackboard. See you guys, probably tomorrow.